Thank you for that introduction. Welcome everyone to this presentation on what you can do with a master's degree in cybersecurity. My name is Sean Murray. I will be your presenter today. It's a little bit about my background, where I've come from. I started out many years ago as an information technology specialist. I didn't have a degree program. I learned a lot of things on my own. And at some point, I decided to go to school and I earned my bachelor's degree in computer science. I went on to earn my master's degree, and I can tell you that the significant investment of contributing to my academic career has significantly introduced opportunities for me in my professional career. It has opened a lot of doors. It has tripled my pay. And I'm here today to talk to you about the benefits of achieving a cybersecurity degree, a graduate cybersecurity degree. A little bit of information related to the current situation in the world. So a lot of us are working from home. A lot of us are, struggling with the challenges of the COVID-19, and we just got through Mother's Day, and Father's Day is upon us very soon as well. And what we've seen is an introduction of some significant challenges for fathers having to work from home, balance work with life, and some of the additional challenges of trying to do everything remotely. So one of the things that we'll look at and we'll discuss throughout this presentation is how this graduate degree can complement you as a professional in the industry, whether you're a mother, a father, or you don't have children. The professional academic situation right now affords many of us opportunities with this extra time that we have at home to add a professional academic to your portfolio. So looking at the various positions right now that you can work remotely with a graduate degree is going to benefit you not only professionally, but academically, and allow you to contribute more to your organization. So this is what we're going to be discussing today throughout the presentation. We'll be looking at master's degrees in cybersecurity positions, the systems software engineer, the system security architect, the application security developer, security research scientist, and secure data scientist. These are the top positions that are in high demand today. If you're a graduate of a cybersecurity program, a degree program, these are the top positions that employers are looking for right now. There are some additional ones that we'll cover at the end of the presentation, but if you look at these positions and the descriptions behind them, we know them as to be cybersecurity focused on system architecture, system software engineering, application development, research science, and then data science. All of these areas need to have a cybersecurity focus as we look at these positions. So let's take a look at the first one, the system security architect. All right, so again, if you have a graduate level degree as a system security architect, this position looks at the system security of a software system and is the person who translates various functional and non-functional requirements from the software into a logic design. The central part of the logic design includes the architecture of the software that specifies what components of the software are and how these components will interact with one another. Important aspects of the logic design, we'll take a look at the layout of the user interface and the workflow of man-machine interaction. Other important aspects of the logic design of software include the specification of the technologies and the computing resources that will be used by each component. The system architect is usually the most senior technical team member within a software development team. So again, when we think of applying cybersecurity to a software development team, the president and CEO of EC Council, Jay Bravasi, a few years ago did a presentation on an evaluation that his team had conducted on software development, software engineering. And what was discovered out of 11,000 software developers, software engineers, and coders, 1.64% out of 11,000 had the skills necessary to develop sound, secure software and were in high demand. 6.4% could be trained. The rest of those developers, those coders, were basically hacks. They didn't have the skills necessary. So if you think of the number one most significant threat to any information system being the human, the most significant threat being the insider threat, either the intentional, the malicious insider, or the careless or the accidental insider, someone who is not paying attention to the basic cybersecurity elements. Software is the number two most significant threat to any information system. Number one, software is developed by humans. Number two, if we don't have that security mindset in the development of your software, it's going to contribute to the overall risk related to the business. At any point in time, 80% of all your business processes for any industry are automated. And so a system security architect, usually being the most senior technical team member, will actually set the culture for the rest of the team so that a cybersecurity mindset is being used to develop within that software development team. The system architect has an in-depth knowledge in addition to rich software development experience about the entire software project. The system architect often plays the role of project spokesman to communicate the technical details of the software to all of the relevant stakeholders of the software project. Some additional attributes associated with the system security architect. These are some of the job functions of the architect. Again, they're a senior level computer professional job title. A system security architect is usually a subject matter expert or a SME on a system or a component of a complicated system. And then oftentimes can either lead or be a leader on a project development team. The typical job functions or responsibilities of a system security architect include but are not limited to the following areas. Again, so technical leadership related to the following. So secure architecture design, secure system-based application development planning, new component development, existing component maintenance. And the idea is some of the activities that they would participate in are the review and approval of any applications to be developed based on the system or the component of the system, primary contact for the system or a component of the system for other internal teams. They are the primary contact about the integration with third-party systems, the primary contact about the system or component of the system regarding any customer support issues, and then being a team leader if directly assigned to a team or software engineers or application developers. And then oftentimes a system security architect is going to be a project spokesman for the inquiries about the system or a component of the system. System security software engineer. Again, a system software engineer with a security mindset. The system security software engineer is a software engineer whose main job function is to develop the software components that run securely on the computer servers in a network computer system. So this software is often called the server-side software or just simply the servers. The most important characteristic about these software servers is that they can be shared by many different types of client-side or endpoint software, and simply the client or the application software as well. The system security software engineer usually has a broad technical knowledge of various system software such as operating systems, database management systems, and computer network protocols and routine software. Most of the time, a system security software engineer is a senior team member in a software development project team. And again, so with a focus on a cybersecurity in the production and performance of your duties brings more value to the team, helps maintain the culture of security, and provides value to the organization and the end users of the product once it's developed. So, system security software engineer, the following are the typical qualifications for a system security software engineer. Minimum of a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science or computer engineering, 2 or more years of working experience, and then specific required skills usually include the following. The systems security software engineer should be competent in the software or systems development lifecycle, competent in client-server architecture and platforms, competent in server-side software design and development, competent in computer operating systems, competent in network protocols and network programming, competent in various development languages such as C++, Java, Python, competent in industrial domain-specific language, competent in structured query language, scripting and programming, competent in troubleshooting, and then excellent written and verbal communication skills, and should have excellent technical support provided to clients and to customers. So if we look at the application security developer, an application security developer is a software programmer whose main job function is to develop the software components that run on a client's PC, a tablet, a laptop, network computer system, basically client-side software, but with a security mindset. Again, we're looking at the various types of cybersecurity graduate degree positions that one with a cybersecurity graduate level or master's degree can enter into. The most important characteristic of the software clients is that they are directly responsible for all of the inputs, the demands from the end users. So the application programmer usually has excellent technical knowledge of the user interface design and the development principles, and should be also very competent in using various user interface design development toolkits, such as web development kits, mobile device and development toolkits to complement their tradecraft. Developing application software and creating the proper graphical user interfaces associated with application software are the main job functions of an application developer. Most of the time, an application developer can be the first job for a junior team member in a software development project team. Application security developers or security application software engineers is also one of the most popular computer professional job titles and is one of the most high in demand positions today. An application developer usually designs and develops software securely that helps users complete computer-based business or business-to-business or specific application tasks. So again, focusing on client-side software. This type of software often involves a user interface. That user interface can be, you can use a keyboard, a pen, a tablet, your finger, the monitor, of course, the old mouse. The idea here is the application security developer is using the development skills between user interfaces and the client itself. The typical job functions associated with an application security developer, the responsibilities of an application developer may vary depending on what type of team that you're working on and the level of work experience. So the type of application, the software platform, or the server used. So the following are the job responsibilities that are most common to application developer positions. Participate in the requirement collection and analysis. So once you're in the design phase, you're taking all of these and you're getting an idea of what needs to be designed from a user interface for the end user. Create and maintain and implement the software code that delivers the functions of a specific application used directly by the end users. Oftentimes they'll create a prototype of the application to verify the design of the application, implement the required software code based on the project plan that was approved before the project started, may work as an employee or independent contractor or consultant in the private industry within government agencies or consulting firms, or conduct various types of software quality assurance tests, discover and fix software bugs, and then continuously improve the quality of the application software. So again, that last bullet focusing on a cybersecurity mindset, not that just that the applications that are developed are functional, but they're secure as well. So the following are the typical qualifications for an application developer. So minimum of a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science, 1 or more years of working experience. The required set of specific skills usually includes the following: competent in the systems development lifecycle, competent in end user usability requirements collections and analysis, competent in graphical user interface, otherwise known as GUI, design and implementation, competent in computer architecture and platforms, competent in industrial domain specific knowledge, also in JavaScript, hypertext markup language, and object-oriented programming languages, competent in SQL scripting, SQL scripting and programming, competent in troubleshooting, should have excellent written and verbal communication skills, should have excellent technical support provided to clients and customers. Security research scientist. So a security research scientist is a job title for a computer professional who is working as a computer specialist. A research scientist assists or conducts research work in a professional field. And so these fields can include the following: natural sciences, engineering, social science, computer science, and computer engineering. If you think about what's going on in the world today with COVID-19, there is so much data that is being produced, and all of that information, all that data needs to be collected, it needs to be managed, it needs to be researched, and we need to turn that data into information for lawmakers, for government organizations, for businesses, so that we can learn about all of the challenges that we've had over the last 6 months in dealing with COVID-19. A security research scientist can contribute to that type of position. I can't imagine any position more so than the security research scientist and the data scientist that is going to be more needed in many, many different industries. So if you think of the job skills required for the security research scientist, they can work in many different industries. They can work in engineering, they can work in transportation, they can work in government services, military services, legal, accounting. The idea behind a security research scientist is they enjoy working with systems and enjoy working with data. So in many scientific or technical research teams, the security research scientists on 1 or more computer specialists are included. They have their tasks of applying various computing technologies. This may include the setting up of a computer system, creating some dedicated software, finding a way to integrate different computer-based tools, or creating a database to track, store, and then process the data collected during the experiments. These computer specialists must also have a good enough domain-specific knowledge about the research projects they participate in. This is why they're called research scientists, and then more often computer specialists. The idea here is that security research scientists, they're usually going to be highly technical, and they're going to apply the tasks of various computer technologies in manipulating, massaging data. So for your security research scientist, so with a computer science background or a cybersecurity background, usually applies programming skills, creates software tools to conduct research data processing analysis work. They also often are required to be competent in the domain knowledge of their research area. So if they're an academic, or they work in a specific industry such as transportation or law enforcement or legal and accounting or in finance, they should have some expertise in the domain that they're working as well. Security research scientists, the typical job functions or responsibilities of a research scientist vary depending on the level of work experience, the type of application, the software platform or the server used. The following are the job responsibilities that are common to most jobs related to a position for a security research scientist. So they develop a hypothesis. If you're a graduate degree program recipient, you certainly know what a hypothesis is. You come up with an idea, a question, maybe one or two. You develop that statement. Well, you're not just doing that in your cybersecurity graduate degree program. You're going to take that skill set into the position, the job as well. So oftentimes after the hypothesis, you develop your design experiments to collect data. Is the design feasible with the constraints of time and schedule and money, resources? Are we able to effectively put these requirements into a product for an end user? Using software tools to create or software or process experiment data, and then analyze that data. Are we on track? Again, do we have the capabilities necessary to develop the product that was originally designed? Using software tools to create software to analyze experiment data. Sometimes this could be commercial off the shelf, or this could be developed by some of the previous positions of software engineering. The idea behind the security research scientist is they're apt in this type of technology, creating software tools through programming to assist research work, and then act as a consultant for some specialized software tools. Assist domain-specific professionals to apply computing technology in the successful completion of the whatever it is that's being designed. The security data scientist is a computer professional with a special skills in both data analysis and then programming for data processing. A strong relationship between the security research scientist and the security data scientist. They work closely together on project teams, testing the capabilities of the technology that's being designed for the end user. So a security data scientist, again, is a computer professional with a special skill set in both data analysis and programming for data processing. So data scientists are needed for almost every industry and every professional area. So if, again, we relate back to some of the things that we're starting to see in today's phase of COVID, right now it's predicted there will be a worldwide shortage of protein, meats, of other types of groceries. And so right now there's a lot of data scientists working with data researchers in various industries to determine what the impact is going to be on the world's food supply. And so that's pretty significant. If you think about the value that a security data scientist brings to any type of industry, it's going to provide a lot of value, a lot of data that's translated into information that's useful for any type of industry. So again, data scientists are needed for almost every industry and professional area. Their main function is not setting up a computer system, but rather using the computer systems to conduct various types of data collection, processing, and then data analysis work to provide the relevant business organization and management with the reports and insights generated from the data processing and analysis work. So the idea here is a data scientist is not a developer of systems. They are a consumer of the data that is managed, produced, collected by the systems themselves. They take that data, they use tools, they massage the data and turn it into useful information. It's also very common for a good data scientist to be very knowledgeable about the specific domain that the data processing and analysis work are targeting. Again, so very industry specific. Data scientists have a common skill set that are used, but depending on what industry that they're associated with, they are dealing with a high amount of data. They should have some proficiency in managing data sets, understanding how data sets are collected, how they're stored, how they're organized, so that they can, again, turn this data into useful information for the customer. So, security data scientists. So security data scientist is a job title for a computer professional who works as a computer specialist. He or she applies data analytic and programming skills to find, model, process, and then interpret rich and large data sets. Again, they're using special tools to be able to massage collected or ingested data into information. He or she then creates new and improved computing techniques or solutions for data collection, management, and usage. All right, they work with the system programmers and the engineers to develop output streams that will produce the expected data data offsets to those consumers that need them to be able to do their jobs, right? So the data scientist often works with the stakeholders, the product managers, and the developers. The idea is what's being consumed as the out or byproduct of the data manipulation from the system being useful for that audience. Together, they develop and review designs and business requirements. Doing this will analyze and streamline the data involved in every phase of the business operations. In recent years, data scientists have been in high demand in both public and private sectors. Again, this is one of the top cybersecurity positions today is the security data scientist. I talked about the research scientist and the data scientist. Those are two of the most significant positions. So if you have a master's degree in cybersecurity in one of these two fields, you're going to be in very, very high demand. And the master's degree itself will command a higher pay because it's such a competitive market for these two positions. Having a master's degree in cybersecurity in these two areas will provide an ability for you to be more competitive and generate a higher wage once you get hired. The typical job functions or responsibility of a data scientist may vary depending on the level of work experience, the type of application or the software platform or the server used. So here are the following job responsibilities related to a security data scientist that are common to most positions. Security data scientists should be able to identify new data sources, refine existing data sources, design and implement data engineering for a data processing node and task automation, conduct data analysis tasks with proper statistical models, provide insights on the data analysis results, assist in making actionable business decisions based on data analytics, apply machine learning and statistical modeling to develop algorithms, coordinate with other peer professional teams to create efficient and scalable solutions, and make proper software tools through programming or scripting, produce and present results with dashboards, and then should be able to communicate the data insights and findings to shareholders. The idea is they're creating a means to translate the data into information that can be consumed by other business units within the organization. It's the responsibility of the data scientists to work with the system development team to be able to produce that data that can be then translated into useful information. So, security data scientists. The following are the typical qualifications for a security data scientist. Minimum of a BS degree in computer science. Again, you know, the security data scientist, if you hold a cybersecurity master's degree, you're going to be in much higher demand than someone with a bachelor's. But the minimum qualifications for this position is a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science for a junior position, and an MS degree, a master's degree in cybersecurity, or a PhD in computer science for a senior level position. 2 or more years of working experience for a junior position, and 5 or more years of experience in a senior position. Specific required skills usually include the following: competent in computer programming, competent in using various data analytics and software, competent in various types of algorithms and how they're used to manipulate data, competent in SQL and not only SQL or no SQL databases, competent in computer platforms and architectures, competent in statistical models as well, competent in machine learning and in troubleshooting, should have excellent analytical skills, and should have excellent communication and writing skills. Other positions that are common for people that have a master's degree in cybersecurity: project managers, chief information security officers, security operations center manager, or a SOC manager, or a chief risk officer. So when we're talking about other types of positions that we don't go into significant in depth, a person who has a master's degree in cybersecurity can run a project team with all of the various team members that we just described. So oftentimes a project manager is going to be skilled in project management concepts that bring all of the other team together: the system developer, the software security software development engineer, the security data scientist, the security research scientist. All these positions would work on a team. And so if you've got a master's degree in cybersecurity, you can be very effective as a project manager on a project management team with all of these other various positions. The Chief Information Security Officer, the CISO within the organization, is an executive board of directors position that maintains and manages all of the information and cybersecurity risk associated with the organization. They often work closely with the Chief Information Officer, the CIO, the Chief Technology Officer, the CTO, and believe it or not, many of the business unit managers, so that they can understand the risks associated with the business processes that each department faces on a day-to-day basis. So the idea is to build security into those processes. The Chief Information Security Officer, or the CISO, is got relationships with many of the other business unit managers as they manage a portfolio of services. The Security Operations Center Manager. So the SOC, in some instances, is also referred to as the CERT, C-E-R-T, the Computer Emergency Management Team, or CIRT, the Computer Information Management Team or Incident Management Team. The idea is this organization for medium to large companies or organizations themselves, they provide analysis of the traffic that is translated from the internet internally, externally, and they're looking at all of the risks and all of the events that are happening over the network. If something pops up, say a SIM, a SIEM, an intrusion detection or an intrusion prevention alert, an analyst at the SOC would be investigating and then reporting up the various events that need to be triaged, and then if they turn into an event, provide significant risk to the organization. The Security Operations Center manager, the SOC manager, is the person who will be the oversight over the Security Operations Center. So you'll have your hunt team, you'll have your threat team, you may have your forensics and analysis team. In many instances, the SOC also has the penetration testing responsibilities for the organization. The SOC manager would be someone that would manage that aspect of the CISO's portfolio over the security operations, and then perform and participate in disaster recovery, also participate in business continuity activities, work with other business unit leaders or executives to have a good understanding of the risk associated with how people are using information and how traffic is being managed over the network. All right, the Chief Risk Officer. So oftentimes the Chief Risk Officer is managing all of the risk for the entire organization. So financial risk, business risk, cybersecurity risk, opportunity risk. Remember, not all risk is negative. Some aspects of should we go after this acquisition now? If you consider that, as we stated previously, that 80% of most of your business processes are automated, most of your risk is going to be associated with the technology of that data automation. This can be very successful for a Chief Risk Officer who has a graduate or a master's degree in cybersecurity. Other positions that are common that people have masters in cybersecurity, we talked about the project manager, the CISO, the SOC manager, the CRO. A cybersecurity professional's average salary in these areas in 2019 was $102,000, $470. Right, more than half of organizations say that they expect to be the victim of some sort of cybercrime over the next few years. So if you think of the average salary for the previous positions that we talked about, let's take a look at cybersecurity salaries, the top security salaries. All right, so Forbes magazine, they collect a lot of information. They cited that the IT job board, DICE, stated that the top security salary went to those who lead software security engineering positions, and that these professionals earned an average of $233,000 annually. So if you take a look at pharmaceuticals and medicine in that industry, the average salary for these types of positions is around $131,000. E-markets and brokerage firms, the average salary is $122,000. Legal industries, $120,000. Electronic manufacturing, $117,000. Cybersecurity salaries. So again, Forbes reported that there were over 1 million cybersecurity job openings in 2016. Before we dive into Forbes findings as far as salaries, let's take a look at the average annual salaries as reported by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. All right, so it's important to note that the Bureau of Labor Statistics takes an average across the country, not just in large metropolitan areas. So this is everywhere across the board, where salaries will naturally be higher, or tech hubs like Seattle and Silicon Valley, it's going to be double and sometimes triple the salary. So here's the salaries for network security and cybersecurity related roles. So the median annual salary for cybersecurity careers: information security analyst, $102,000. Network systems administrators, $87,000. A computer network architects, $107,000. Information systems manager, $152,000. And as I came up through the various positions in my career, I can tell you that as I advanced from a network or a systems administrator into an information security analyst or a computer network architect into a CISO position, the salary that has accommodated the positions has grown between 20 and 40% every time I made a transition. Again, this information can be compared out on the www.cybersecurityeducation.org site, looking at degree and salary specifically for cybersecurity degrees, to include the cybersecurity master's degree. Forbes also listed the top 6 metro areas for the Chief Information Security Officer or CISO roles, along with the salary range these professionals command. So if I'm in San Francisco, California, think of $250,000, but the range is from $150,000 to almost $400,000. In San Jose, California, the range is between $149,000 and $368,000. New York City, from $149,000 to $367,000. Average median range for that type of position is $240,000. Washington, D.C., from $139,000 to $334,000. Los Angeles, California, from $138,000 to $341,000. And then Chicago, from $132,000 to $328,000. But if you look at the median range in each one of these areas is in the mid 200,000s as far as the salary goes for a CISO in these areas. So cybersecurity career cycles. So it's also important to decide what job you'd like to pursue upon graduation. There's at least 3 general camps in cybersecurity. There's one in forensics, so forensics and law enforcement experts who investigate crimes, database and network security guardians who try to anticipate the criminals' movements before they meet them, and then ethical hackers and penetration testers who attempt to replicate cybercrime in order to prevent it. Once you decide what your interest is and what interests you, find out how well a program will train you in that area. Keep in mind that an undergraduate program is unlikely to be too specialized, but you might be able to weigh the balance of your courses once you become accepted into a cybersecurity graduate or master's degree program. More often than not, your first job will determine the trajectory of the rest of your career and then the future salary potentials in the area. That is the end of our presentation of what you can do with a cybersecurity master's degree program. I would pass this back over to our host so that we can answer your questions.